Welcome back. I have Jeff Parker here, who's going to talk to us a little bit about our COVID numbers, which look amazing compared to a while ago, right?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that today. We'll go over the numbers first, but I want to then finalize the whole story with how well we've done in the last 3 months.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
The direction. So go to the board there, you can see that our cases are continuing to go down. We're at 69 cases. Unfortunately, there were 8 reported deaths in 4 in skilled nursing facilities, which is still that high risk category of people, and then 4 in typical residential areas. Again, testing, though, over 10,000 tests, so that's really good relative to our case analysis when we look at going to the next stage.
Right.
More tests versus lower case rates. Hospitalizations, fantastically low, kind of reached that point where we've stabilized. The 22 ICUs have been 22 to 25 the last couple of weeks, and the hospital's down to 110. So phenomenal numbers there. For the village, which means Laguna Woods, when you look it up under Orange County, we're at 411 cases and 49 deaths. That's basically stabilized since the beginning of April. I've only seen a couple of increases in that area, so that's really good.
Yeah.
Again, the whole community-wide area is slowing down, or the cases are maintaining at a level that we don't see any increases, which is what we want to see.
Right, and the vaccinations seem to be helping. Hopefully, once people do have their second shot, then they have that period of time where they need to lay low, and then they can go out and about but still use the mask. However, it seems like there still is a little bit of controversy right now going on across the nation about when you need to stop wearing the mask after vaccination. So I think that's still in question.
Well, I think a lot of people are suggesting that and making sure everybody understands that the vaccination doesn't mean you can't get COVID. So the mask still helps prevent the spread of COVID. And so that's an important part that you got to remember. I know one person who had the vaccinations, both of them, and still got COVID.
Okay.
But their reaction to it was they only had like a flu-like symptoms for 2 days, and then they were back up to speed, as opposed to potentially going to the hospital or potentially being really, really sick.
Right.
And that's where the vaccination has made such a big change in our overall numbers.
Right.
Speaking of numbers, though, going to our big sheet here, as we've dropped from 3 down to 2.8.
We're getting there.
And so we're going again in that direction. If we can get below 2 or 2 or under, then we're into the yellow category, already there with regards to positivity rate and the health quartile. We're in the next category. So that's good news that we're trending. Along with watching the state and the amount of vaccinations that are being distributed throughout the state and our hospitalizations, that's going to trigger how we move into the yellow category. So all 3 are trending in the right direction. So probably they're now announcing basically on Monday evening, Tuesdays, when you're going to look at that next category, and then they're also following up on Thursdays and Fridays. So they're kind of looking at it 2 different times. So we next week we'll hear if we're trending enough that they're anticipating maybe in a couple weeks going to the yellow tier.
Right.
And then if you follow the governor's plan, which is still on course, he's looking at going into what I'll call the green tier, which is basically out of this whole tier process come June 15th.
Okay.
So that's obviously good news.
Right. Right. Yeah. That would be very nice. Maybe sooner than later. You don't know. Looking at the trend and the numbers here, it seems like, and I think the whole reason that we all started all of this at the very beginning was to flatten the curve, right? We were trying to flatten the curve and not inundate our medical system. And certainly that has happened. That has definitely happened.
Absolutely correct. And that's the key. That's hospitalization, that ICU, not having that critical need there. Is really what the number 1 issue was. Obviously, protection of the health and safety of the residents out there in the community and throughout Orange County is a critical part of that, and it meshes. So if they're vaccinated or people are wearing masks and staying protected, then they're not impacting the system. So it's a kind of a goes circle, and it's full circle right now. I wanted to mention, we were talking about it earlier, how big a change it's happened, and people forget this. So we go back to literally 3 months ago. On January 19th, we were here and we were talking about the numbers there. We had over 2,000 hospitalizations and over 500 ICU cases.
Wow.
Now it's 110 and 22.
Yeah.
We had 1,300 cases of COVID on a daily basis, where we're now at 69.
Yeah.
So that's just it's almost, when you look at those numbers, you're like going, wow, how did we drop that much? Well, that's when the big vaccination process really got kicked off and was really in full-blown usage. And I think that's made a big difference. And then I think just following up on people being more and more protective. After we saw that surge back in October, November, I think people got real serious about it because of the impact that it was having on the communities. And luckily, the federal government came through with the vaccines to all the states to help them get going on it.
Well, exactly. And then they're also, I think the way that they had the elderly, those age groups, the way they did that was really appropriate, because the majority of the people who were in the hospital with COVID were of a higher age. And the ones that were dying were also of a higher age. So I'm sure that most people who are within that range were much happier to get the vaccine at that time, because rather than starting at a different arena, they recognized that that age group was the ones who really needed it. And we did, after everybody was vaccinated, even here in the village, we started to see numbers taper off pretty well.
Absolutely, and I think that was why the impetus we had working with Memorial Care to have our vaccination clinic that we established here. I think the success of that for the village, I think we were the leader in Orange County to get our seniors vaccinated, so it was great.
Absolutely, good deal on that one. So excellent. All right, well, wonderful. Anything else going on in the village?
Working on budgets right now. Obviously, from an internal point of view, we're gearing up and getting all our data collected. So come June, July, and August, we get in front of the boards with regards to our various departments and budgets. We put together some training videos for our board members. We're going to put that on the website so our residents can see those same videos. So they'll be able to understand what our departments do and information like that. So there's going to be some additional information out there so people can take a look at that. But it's really a very intensive long-term process to get all of this data and all this budgetary work. So our departments are doing that right now. A lot of activity relative to that type of operation. And then the other thing that we're doing right now is we're really gearing up to how do we become more efficient? What are the areas that we can look at efficiencies in our operations? So we're working with both United and Third and GRF to have what we call client services meetings. So we're saying, hey, what is it that the clients, which for VMS, the clients are GRF, Third, and United. We want to make sure that we're meeting the needs that they have and being able to do it within the budget that we have.
Oh, okay, that's great. I mean, things are coming along. I think this is a great time. It has been a great time to sort of reevaluate a lot of the processes, because if you can operate in the way that we have been operating, then, you can take a look at some other alternatives, especially because we've been doing appointments for our resident services and then manner and alterations, and that hopefully is going pretty well.
It is going well, and it's a perfect example of how we can interact with people and how we have interacted this last year by phone and by internet and setting up appointments. And there's still people that have the desire or need that they need to come in, so we have this appointment basis that keeps them safe and accomplishes the goal. But we need to keep moving towards the technology advancements so that we can be more efficient and cost effective and do our operations. And that's a transition for the community for sure.
Right. Excellent. All right, well, good. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again next week.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, when we come back, we are going to have the United update with Diane, so stay tuned.